Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Summoner's War Chronicles Monster Spotlight. Today we have Ceres, the Fire Amazon. She is quite unique, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and dive on into her kit. So, starting off, her basic attack is one of those rare few ones that has a special thing to it. If the target has blind, she gets an extra 50% damage. That'll be useful later on. Um, Moving on to her first ability, it's quite a thing. She applies burns, and when she gets a critical hit on an enemy, she gets attribute advantage. What that means is, say she's fighting a water monster where she's naturally at a disadvantage because water beats fire. If she critically hits, not only does this negate that, but because of attribute advantage, she gets that extra 20% critical damage in there, upping her damage to it and losing whatever disadvantage she had for that attack. Um, that burn lasts anywhere from 10 seconds to 16. It costs 4 mana, so if she's your Soul Link, you can get that stacked on there twice before having to wait for recharge on mana. And at max level, you'll probably end up getting 3 or 4 on there at a time for somebody else to, say, explode, like Smokey. Um, Moving on to her third ability, she also has critical attribute advantage on that, and she blinds enemies, anywhere from a 70% chance to an 82. Um, while that's not a guarantee, that is still pretty helpful for her basic attack to get that extra damage in while they're blind for anywhere from 10 to 16 seconds. Blind will stop the enemy from being able to hit you with their basic attack. Um, yeah, simply that. Simply that. They won't be able to hit you with their basic attack. Their abilities, however, will still hit you. But this is great for those enemy monsters that are DPS monsters specifically, who just land basic after basic after basic. She also has that retreat shot, just like all her variant sisters, where if she's within 5 meters of the enemy while using the skill, she will jump back and have that 50 to 62% chance to push them back, giving you about a second to just jump in and do a lot of damage. Um, Diving on into her runes, just like her variant sisters, we want to keep that Rage Blade, Fatal Blade, Swift Blade in mind, as she definitely needs that crit rate specifically to land critical hits and get the attribute advantage for that extra damage. So you definitely want to maybe prioritize that over something like attack speed, which again, ranged DPS monster definitely needs attack speed. Um, Places I would use her in, I mean, Spires, obviously. You know, the blind can be. I don't know if the game considers blind to be a crowd control effect or not, as it only affects the basic attack. It might very well count it as crowd control, so I can't remember. The problem I'm having here is that as much as I've used her, it's mostly been in ruptures to help clear out a bunch of wind mobs as I was leveling up. I haven't exactly had the chance lately to play with her because I've got so many monsters that I've been working on. I wanted to do a variant in the spotlights for the most part, but I got tired of waiting on the Amazons and just wanted to do them all and get them done and out there because I love them so much. She does have her uses, I promise, especially in dungeons, that are directly opposing to her, like water, because she does get that attribute advantage. She kind of turns into like a light versus dark scenario where, yeah, she'll deal more to it because of that attribute advantage when she critically hits, but she'll also still take more damage because that affinity does beat her. So pick and choose where you use her when it comes to water style dungeons and enemies. The burn is definitely nice as let me get back to it because there's so many debuffs to keep track of. It does do a bit of damage, you know, and it does take off their maximum HP, meaning that even if they were to be healed, there's a certain amount of HP that they won't be able to heal. So it not only burns their HP down, but it burns their maximum HP down, and that's something I failed to discuss earlier in the video, and I do apologize for that. Burn teams end up being highly effective for that very reason. Being able to burst down the enemy's HP with burns, and then they heal, but they only heal to, like, say, half their HP because the other half has been burnt out is highly useful and just ends up being destructive against any enemy team. Because I'm sorry, it's late. My mind is flustered, and just using this as an example, you know, say you're in a PvP match or the battlefield, and you get into a fight and you almost burst down the enemy, but then somebody like Kona or Keon comes in, gives a mass heal that raises them all the way back up. Now you got to go through all that damage again because of that. But wait, because they had, say, 4 levels of burn that burned out a quarter of their HP, now they're only at 75%. So that last 10% you didn't get to, now you can. Now they're dead. Moving on. Ipso facto, dunzo, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, GG's. Other than that, that's about all I have to say on her. Remember, if you want to help the channel grow, PayPal's in the description below. If you want to catch me live running around with my head cut off and even more flustered than I am in this video, catch me live on Twitch just about any day of the week, noon Central Time. And let me know what you think in the comments. You know, let me know who you want to see, how you feel about Ceres, and I'll get to as many comments as I can, which at this rate is 100% so far. Not planning on losing that streak yet. Until next time, y'all take it easy and stay frosty.